Did you know that part of this pair of shoes actually takes inspiration from a torn up old couch? And the designer actually took a picture of that torn up old trashy couch and sent it over to Nike and said, yo, this is what I want. So the sneaker that we're taking a look at today has some really interesting inspirations and design elements that I'm super excited to take a look at. So let's take a look at the Nike Readymade Blazer Mid. Alright, so here is the box. On first initial impressions, you may think that this has been dragged through the mud, scratched, scraped, and just thrown around. I mean, just take a look at the top. Of course, you get the Nike logo in white, but all over it, it looks and appears to have this really dirty, scratched up element to it. And that's because the actual inspiration of the box is a rubbish bin or a trash can. As you can see over on the side, you've got the Readymade logo across there. You've got some graffiti on the side as well as a little sign saying no public use. And just take a look at it. Super interesting. And as we open it up, you'll see the actual paper included is just piles of trash. This of course all leads into the complete design of this pair of shoes. But let me pull these out real quick, give you guys a look at today's pair of sneakers. And that of course is the Nike Readymade Blazer Mid. One thing you do get in the box is an extra pair of laces. These are completely orange, and I actually think that these would go super well with the pair of shoes. And here they are, so incredibly different and just so interesting, but they look so good. Readymade is a Japanese company that teamed up with Nike on this crazy pair of shoes. The concept of this pair of shoes is essentially just to prove that you can reuse and transform things that might be wasted into something completely new, which is very fitting for Nike, as of course they had a very similar concept when it came to the space hippie pack. And that feeling I had when I first saw the Nike Space Hippie line and how different and crazy the designs were is a very similar feeling I get when I'm holding and looking at this pair of shoes. So some quick specifics. These released on February the 27th alongside a black colorway or predominantly black colorway. They both retail for £140 here in the UK or $160 out in the US. And of course they both sold out pretty quickly. They were pretty limited and resale is pretty high. The black one in particular, which may have something to do with Travis Scott wearing them. And you know what? I actually thought I preferred that black colorway to this one. However, getting this one in hand, I'm 100% super happy that I went with this one. Individual materials that are being used on this pair of shoes are really unique. For example, this foam that you find around the ankle area and around that tongue, overlaid by a very fine transparent mesh material. And this pattern that you see specifically around the ankle area and the tongue is, again, that broken down old couch that I was telling you about in the beginning. And when I first saw this pair of shoes, I just thought it was some kind of camo print or digi camo look, but yeah, that is literally a broken down old exposed foam couch. base material that you find just underneath these side panels and towards the top of the shoe by the toe box, it kind of looks like a moving blanket material. You know, something like a mixed wool type of material. It feels relatively good. It definitely adds a very kind of DIY, reuse, recycle vibe to the pair of shoes. And this lacing situation is where things get pretty interesting as well. You've got 3 different types of laces on here. Only one of them is functional, however, being this main one that comes in kind of a silver or gray color. And then you get the black one right at the bottom, and that is literally just there. It doesn't add anything extra to the pair of shoes. You can't really tighten it up. And then you get this elasticated orange one. The medial and lateral sides of this pair of shoes have these big kind of plastic side panels, and that is of course detached, which gives it a very interesting kind of high top and also mid-cut look. Over the top of that, you do have the Nike swoosh, which again is almost redesigned. It's extra droopy, extra thin, and almost looks like a U shape. Of course, you've got some heel counter reinforcement in white with the Readymade logo at the back with some Nike swooshes. You've got some very small suede panels on either side. Of course, that is a signature for a Nike blazer. And then the midsole, which I think is one of the craziest looking things. I mean, just look at it. It looks handmade. It's got this whole rippling effect, and what I believe the designer said is that this is very, very similar to the prototype he made literally by hand. He was smushing around clay to make this midsole, and that's why it has such a weird rippled effect. The actual outsole takes it straight back to the Space Hippie line, of course, with this Nike grind material. So that kind of multicolored speckling that you see, of course, is scrap materials that have been ground up and then added to this pair. So again, preaching that kind of reuse, recycle, and eco-friendly ethos of this pair of shoes. Back when I first saw the leaked images of this pair of shoes way before they released, I just immediately took a liking to it. Maybe I have an inclination to really appreciate the crazier design of sneakers, but I just think whenever I look down at this pair of shoes when I'm wearing it, I'm just like, damn, these look so good. Now, as for the sizing and comfort, I actually went my true to size, and these seem to fit just fine, so that's exactly what I would recommend. And as for comfort, I mean, you really just, what you see is what you get with this solid midsole. It's gonna feel pretty similar to a regular blazer or anything that has a pretty solid midsole. It's not like you're getting anything crazy in terms of the comfort and cushioning system. These are probably gonna go down as one of my favorite sneakers from 2021. I know we do still have a long way to go, but I just gotta say, at the end of the year when I look back, I'm definitely going to be remembering these. But hey, that pretty much wraps it up for the Readymade Blazer Mid. Let me know what you guys think of this pair of shoes, or maybe the black one if you prefer that. But hey, thank you so much for coming through, hanging out for yet again another video. Thank you for liking, commenting, and of course subscribing. I will catch you guys in the next one, but until then.